Hi, this is Harriet Grayson, your host and producer for Community Culture Showcase. Well, welcome back to the world. I mean, COVID has done a real monster job on all of us. Hopefully we're all healthy and we want to be out in the world and seeing what's going on in our beautiful state and the areas around here. Our tourists will come back, the kids will be running around very soon, the weather will get nice, and we'll be back at the beach. And as we're doing all that planning, I have the great fortune to present to you the new artistic director for the Granite Theater. She's just come into this position, and the Granite Theater has been around for years and years and years. I have been a steady customer for more than a decade, and I've loved the stuff. It's community theater at its best. It uses people who live in the community and want an opportunity to show us their performing arts gifts. So without much more ado, let me introduce Erin. Erin, why don't you say hello to everybody?
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me, Harriet. It's truly a pleasure.
So when did you start with the Granite Theater?
So, Harriet, I started the beginning of January. It's almost been 2 months.
Oh, yes.
And it's been an exciting adventure planning the 2022 season and getting to know wonderful community members like yourself and our subscribers. And our wonderful board, composed of 14 fabulous community members who have really impacted the theater and are making huge contributions. They're led by Dina Ferry, our president. And it's been pretty amazing getting to know this town of Westerly. I'm originally from Connecticut. We know I live in East Lyme, Connecticut. And although it's only 30 minutes away, I do have some close ties to the community because I've been the theater director at Stonington High School, just a hop, skip, and a jump away for over 20 years.
Wow.
So it's always been a theater that has been near and dear to my heart. I attended the Granite Theater when it was the Colonial Theater. Years ago, it was a professional theater. I think you probably know that. And I attended as a child, and my grandparents brought me and my parents to some wonderful shows. And I had one of my first acting jobs, professional acting jobs, at the Colonial Theater. So it feels like I'm coming home in some way.
That's wonderful. So what got you personally interested in the theater? You started out as an actress? Is that what your first thing was?
I definitely did. However, when I was about 3 and a half, I was known to sing country western music. My grandparents would take care of me, and I would listen to country western music and dance around the living room. So that was my first start to performing. And then from there, I started actually competing in pageants because it was something that I could do and share my voice and sing. And later, my mom said the first time I was able to read, I would start to read the newspaper, actually the local day newspaper. And I would look, and at that time they used to announce all of the auditions in the day. And I would look for auditions, and I would say, "Mom, will you please take me?" And I received my first role at the United States Coast Guard Academy. They were doing a celebration of music throughout the years. And one of the pieces that they were doing was Tomorrow from Annie.
Oh, yes.
So I was almost 8, I remember, at the audition, and my mother brought me, and I sang my best rendition of Tomorrow. And I was fortunate enough to be cast in the production.
That's fabulous.
Then it started and kept going from there.
Wow. Where did you go to school to study acting or performance?
I did. I studied musical theater at the Boston Conservatory of Music.
Oh, how lovely.
Thank you. And I later received a scholarship, and I attended the Eugene O'Neill Theater Center's National Theater Institute. It's a renowned program.
Is that in Waterford?
Yes, for actors and directors and technical theater. And I also got to study in Stratford, England with them. And since then have been either performing, directing, choreographing, teaching. It's been a marvelous career, and I feel blessed to get to do what I love.
Wow, that's wonderful. Do you find that it's difficult to work with high school students versus professional actors or even younger kids who may be more willing to take and follow orders?
You know, there are pros and cons, I'd have to say. A lot of people said to me, when you received this position at the Granite, are you going to continue working at Stonington? And I said, of course. I have to say, when you can impact a teenager or a young child, that is the most rewarding thing. Even more rewarding than working with an adult, because you're leaving a valuable impression on them, and you're getting to share the joy of theater. And I've been very fortunate that I've had some incredible alumni. Actually, when I received the job, some of them sent me text messages and emails and said, "I'm so proud of you, Mrs. Stanley. This was your dream, and you always told me to follow my dream, and now your dream's coming true." So
Very nice.
there's nothing to replace that, being part of their journey, just a small part of their journey,
Right.
And getting to share the stage with them means so much to me.
Well, that's great, because I'm a novelist, and one of the things, my most recent book takes place during the 1960s in a high school. And one of the things that the students in my book do, which is what we actually would do, is some theater, musical theater, and then just regular theater, and that's part of the novel, is the kids being part of the rehearsal process, and how they choose other kids, and then how the people choose the plays. Some of that being done by the adults, not necessarily by the students.
Right.
So yes, absolutely, because that was part of, I was not an actor, but I was a musician. I played the clarinet, not necessarily very well, but I did play for years. And that's part of an orchestra, a band.
Of course. So important to the musicals and the
yes.
success of the musicals. My husband I'm very fortunate, he's the music director at Stonington High School, where I am.
Oh.
And he leads the pit musicians and the orchestra, and they do a marvelous job every year. They really do. And that, too, leaves quite an impact on these young people. They talk about, memories of their past, and getting the opportunity to play in the pit is a big deal as well.
And it provides, even if they don't become professionals,
Right.
it provides something to give to a college, for college
Absolutely.
admission, and they like to see that you have the discipline to stay with something like this.
Yes.
And I know, for being a musician, you don't always practice from beginning to end. It's not linear.
It's true.
You can start at the end and work your way to the beginning, start in the middle and go either way. I mean, that's the way you actually study music, to be able to do it. So it's great. Wonderful.
Those skills are so valuable, I'm sure you know. Whether they're on stage, off stage, musicians in the pit, I really believe that the arts are just as important as math and science.
Well, they used to say, if you can read music and learn music, you can do
math.
mathematics,
Yes,
because it's all
that's
nothing but
true.
fractions.
That's absolutely true.
Yes, exactly. Well, part of it anyway. Reading music is fractions. So tell us about the season. That's the Granite Theater.
I'm thrilled to share this season.
Yes, please.
So we like to say it's going to be a year like no other. It's going to be marvelous. We're thrilled to present a gamut of wonderful plays, comedies, musicals. We're going to start our season with the hit comedy I Hate Hamlet. Now, don't worry, there's not too much Shakespeare, I like to say. There's a little bit of Shakespeare. Not everybody's a huge Shakespeare fan. I happen to love Shakespeare. But it's the perfect date night comedy, Harriet, so you're going to have to join us.
Oh, I definitely have come. In fact, it's actually the last day is my birthday, April 9th.
Oh,
So I
okay.
definitely go and pick up some tickets for that.
Yes.
Definitely for that show.
And we have a terrific cast, incredible cast, some newcomers to the Granite, but also some seasoned Granite members, including Darla Allen, who has been a fixture at the theater. And I have to say, it's sort of an honor of mine. As I was a young actress growing up, I used to look up to Darla, and she was who I esteemed to be. And now to have the opportunity to get to direct her is pretty spectacular. So you do not want to miss that comedy. It's going to be great.
So how did you pick that particular comedy for?
Yes,
for,
I
and for
wanted
it being the first one on the drawing board. Yeah.
I know. It's been a play that I've always loved. And I was thinking, when I was choosing the season this year, I wanted to bring joy. And I also wanted to tell important stories. So each show that we've selected is going to do a little bit of that this year. And that piece is just something that I've read and that I've seen over the years. And I was like, I never left without laughing. And that's what I wanted to start 2022 with,
Wonderful, yes.
telling the audiences, come back to the theater, come and enjoy this live performance and experience the magic.
That's great. So if somebody, you already have your actors because you're going to start very soon.
We do, yes.
Yes. So when you were choosing the actors, there was an audition and people just showed up?
Of course. So we advertise our auditions through social media, through email, on our website. We actually have an audition coming up, Harriet.
Oh, listen to this, listen to this, all you fellow actors, yes.
You'll see on our season, the next show is George Washington's Teeth.
Okay, yes.
And it's a funny show about 5 women saving their historical society. And we're having auditions this Friday and this Sunday. So go to our website, granitetheater.com, find out about those auditions, but we're also hoping that you'll join us for that show. It is a hoot. You're going to see the ladies dress up as, they actually, one of them dresses up as George Washington, another dresses up as the Liberty Bell. It's just a terrific piece. And it also has an important story about, the women are saved by the fact that one of the women, her great uncle was a slave, and he happens to have George Washington's teeth. They were handed down to her, and so she saves the historical society with those teeth.
Interesting, yes.
But what we learn from the piece is that our differences do not divide us, they bring us together, and that's something I think we need right now.
Yes,
so
definitely.
I'm excited.
So how many roles are we looking for the audition?
So there are 5 women, and they're all different ages.
Okay.
Harriet, you're even in the age category. So it's going to be a wonderful piece. And I love that it's 5 women of different ages joining this society. And, if they don't save the historical society, they're going to be relegated to the basement of the senior center. So it's very funny. It's a hoot. And there's also a show on Mother's Day, which we're happy to present. We're going to present the ladies with a carnation, so make sure you bring your mom.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And,
that's the end of
story.
April. Am I reading that right? April 29th through May?
Through, I think it's May 11th, is it?
Okay.
It's up there, and that one's really exciting. And then the next show.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
Yes.
You excited?
I'm ready.
First ever at the Granite Theater. It is a youth production.
Oh.
And it is Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, my.
And it's something I'm very passionate about producing because we talked about education earlier and how important educating the young artist is. And not forgetting that the arts are just as important as sports. And for some people, acting or singing or dancing is their sport.
Exactly.
And I'm really happy to present this piece. And one thing that we're going to do is also have the backstage be composed of young actors and young technical staff, right, that are learning how to operate the lights, that are learning how to operate the sound equipment and to help backstage as stage managers. So it's an educational piece and hopefully a service to our community. Mm-hmm. Yes.
I don't know if the Granite Theater, yes, I think it used to do this in the past, would have a acting camp.
We're going to have it again, of course.
For kids, right,
yes.
Exactly.
Jane Mandy's a member of our board. She has led the educational program, and I am teaming with her. And we're going to offer more arts classes coming up later in the year after Alice in Wonderland, but also a fabulous theater camp this summer.
Right.
So we're thrilled about that.
And how old would be the kids that would attend camp?
So probably 7 to 15 or so is what we're looking at.
Okay,
yes.
Is that for a week, a month, a year?
It's going to be a week.
A week.
But we're also going to be offering classes. And Jane does an amazing job working with the youth and integrating being on stage and being off stage. Actually, they produce 2 shows sometimes, and what they'll do is they're short shows, short skits.
Of course, right.
Sometimes they'll be a performer, and then the second time they have a chance to work behind the scenes. And so we're kind of educating the whole artist, and they're getting an opportunity to do both. And then they learn the value of every aspect of theater, which is so
'Cause
important.
when you don't realize there's the set designer and the costume
Yes,
designer
and
and the
you can't
makeup
do it without
artist.
them.
Oh, right.
It's not possible.
Exactly. There's
It's
more than the
definitely-
acting and the director.
There is,
Yes,
most definitely.
definitely. And I've known always in the past the Granite Theater would put out a thing about, do you have this or that? We need it for a play, for a set piece.
Yes.
Yes, please.
You know what I
contact us.
need? Do you know what I need, Harriet? So I'm going to say, because you opened the door for me, I'm looking for a suit of armor. It's a hard request, right? It's difficult to find. I've been searching with all my theater contacts and reaching out, but we're looking for a full suit of armor. And so if anyone
Did you try the
knows-
Westerly Armory?
I didn't.
Try them.
You think they have a knight in shining armor?
Well, besides that, they might have contacts across the armories all
They
over the
might.
states.
That
and
is
maybe
true.
somebody actually does
That
have a
is
suit
true.
of armor.
So if someone has a suit of armor, make sure you contact us.
It's
We'd
in
love
your
to borrow
closet,
it.
just dust it
Yes,
off. And
yes. Or if it's in your entryway as people come into your home, free tickets to whoever can provide it for us.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
But yes, we do have a wish list. That's something that we're going to publicize later. You know, as the only community theater in Westerly and a nonprofit, we, like all arts organizations, have had our struggles over the past couple of years. I'm thrilled that they have been able to survive, but surviving's not enough. We want to really thrive this year.
Right.
So we're looking for people to make donations, to sponsor our shows,
Sure.
to buy season subscriptions like yourself, and we have some wonderful incentives for our sponsors and also for our season subscribers this year. That's brand new to the theater that I wanted to institute. There's going to be a special party for our subscribers only. They get to have champagne with me. What do you think, Harriet?
Oh, I can't wait.
Yes, I can't wait. We're going to have champagne and hors d'oeuvres and just celebrate being
Exactly.
together and celebrating the arts.
Definitely.
And in addition, there's going to be a special gift, which I got a hint is maybe a hat or a shirt or a bag that says the Granite Theater, and also free ticket exchanges, which is really wonderful only for our subscribers.
Okay.
Which is 3 of the things that we are going to offer this year. So we're
And
also
you're going to have the online ticket buying?
Yes. You can go right to our website, granitetheater.com. And if for some reason, that doesn't work for you, please don't be afraid to give us a call. And if someone isn't there, leave your name and number, and myself or Carter will get back to you. It's 401-596-2341.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful. And you can buy the subscription also online?
You can.
Very good. Very good. I know you inaugurated the system before COVID.
We did.
Just,
It was a new
started.
ticket system,
Yes,
most
yes.
definitely. And I think it's more accessible to our patrons, which is really important.
Well, it helps to bring people in who aren't necessarily living in town 100% of the time.
Absolutely.
I know in the summer and even in late spring and early fall, we do still have visitors who are here.
Right.
And I don't know, are you members of the chamber?
We are members of the chamber,
And
yes.
they maybe
and
can also kind of help you to promote it, particularly
can,
for
yes.
the strangers who are looking for entertainment.
Yes, we're hoping to launch a new brochure this year that we're going to share with the tourists at all the hotels. We want to go down to Watch Hill and Misquamicut, and we're hoping that when people visit us this summer, visit Westerly, they'll not only go to the beach, but come to our remarkable little theater.
Right. And of course, the only trouble is the parking. But listen, that's a trouble for that's a Westerly problem.
That is.
That-
But let's talk about parking now, Harriet.
Yes.
Where can we park? If you're handicapped, you can reserve a parking spot, which we like to do for all our handicapped visitors. So give us a call. The other thing that we do is you can park at the church. There's the Christ Church, right?
Across the street, yes.
There's also the spots right there, right downtown on the street.
Right.
And then there's the garage, right, a little farther down past near Washington Trust.
And there's the post office parking lot.
Oh, see, you know
Oh,
everything.
yeah. And then they put up a new parking lot, but it is a bit of a walk to the Granite Theater by the river.
By the river,
Yeah,
they did.
That's for the young or the young at heart who have good walking
Right.
shoes.
But, especially when the weather gets nicer, we have wonderful restaurants in Westerly.
Oh my God, yes.
So go to dinner. We're hoping to partner with some of the restaurants. So if they're listening today, please reach out. I'd love to offer some type of dinner theater package.
Right.
But they can go out to dinner or
Right.
out to lunch with their families, and then they can come to the theater. It's like a perfect day out or perfect night out.
Absolutely.
And we're also hoping to offer some nights during the summer where we present a cabaret. So there'll be some live music, someone at the piano as you come in, some singing. Maybe stay afterwards for a drink at the bar and listen to the lively music. It could be just a
Oh yes,
perfect,
definitely.
perfect night out.
Absolutely. And your tickets are your shows are usually from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday afternoon. Am I right?
That is correct.
Yes.
Yes. Thursday through Sunday is our typical schedule, and it just depends for each production what is available then. But we're also offering, Harriet, some special events this year that's brand new to the Granite. We're going to be having 2 pre-show parties. One is for Alice in Wonderland, and it's a tea party.
Oh, cool.
But it's not just for kids. I remember, going to tea with my mom, even when I was in high school and college, and it was just such a lovely event. So we're going to have tea and possibly meeting, some of the cast members and getting to hear a story. There'll be live music again. It'll be a wonderful pre-show event. We're also going to do the same which leads me to our schedule, right?
Right.
We forgot that after Alice in Wonderland, which is the youth production, it'll be time for the summer, right? Now we know everybody's going to go to Pops, but I don't think they've ever seen anything like this. The Granite Theater is, and your listeners are some of the first to hear this.
Yes.
We're presenting Shrek the Musical.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
So there's going to be dancing in the aisles.
Oh, nice.
And laugh out loud moments and singing and just a joyous story. And, that's for the young and the old.
Okay.
I remember when it came out, it was my father's favorite movie. I think he's seen it like 10 times. So it's the perfect day at the theater. And we're going to have a pre-show party for that event.
Do you have to wear green on your face?
Oh, no. But, if you want to come in costume, Harriet, that could be really fun. Most definitely. Come in costume.
I love a costume party.
Yes,
I do. I love a costume party.
I do
Absolutely.
too.
So that's the first half of the season.
That is.
And then we move to
The second
half of the theater, and it starts like sort of the middle of the summer.
Yes. So in August, we're going to present Neil Simon's very famous comedy, California Suite.
Right.
That was also a movie.
Yes.
And it's sort of the comic scenario of 4 different events that happen in this hotel room. It's funny, it's perfect for a girls' night out, a guys' night out, a date. And the characters are really interesting. So it's a new thing to present there at the theater.
Okay, good.
So we're excited, and everybody loves a good Neil Simon piece.
Absolutely.
You agree?
Oh, yes, definitely.
He's one of the best. So.
Right, definitely. Well, as comedies, absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely.
as a comic.
Oh,
yeah.
yes, absolutely.
Most definitely. And then we have in September, we have The Importance of Being Earnest. That's Oscar Wilde's British farce. And that's a great story. I don't know if you read it growing up, but I read it in high school.
No, but I've read other things by Oscar Wilde. Yes,
right.
Yes, yes.
It is truly a classic. We're talking period costumes.
Oh, the top hats.
Oh, top hats. Don't you love a gentleman in a morning suit and a top hat? Sometimes, Harriet, I wish I was
living
during that time.
A different century.
I would love that. But it's a great comedy, and it's about these 2 gentlemen who take on these different personas, and then they fall madly in love. So there's a lot of romance, but there's definitely a lot of comedy. So it's perfect to present to our audiences in October.
All right. Yes. Okay. And then
September. I'm sorry.
September. Yes.
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 And then October. I think this is the piece I'm most passionate about, Harriet. This is a drama.
Yes, yes.
And it's a poignant story. And it's a story, I'm sure, with what's going on in the world today, too. I mean, we need to tell it. We need to tell about history. We were talking about your book and Vietnam. And You know, this story is also one that really needs to be told, The Diary of Anne Frank. And I can't wait to share it with young and old. And we're looking for some community organizations to maybe partner with us on this one, because we'd like to offer free tickets to school-aged children and bring them in middle school and high school, because this is, you know, a story that we were taught growing up. I don't know, did you read it in school?
I'm not sure that I read it in school, but I have read it, and I don't know that I've ever seen the play, but I certainly have seen the movie.
You have, right?
And there has been, like this year and the end of last year, some new news about who actually tattletaled on the Frank family.
On the Frank family,
and
yes.
so, yeah, that's kind of interesting.
Very interesting.
I mean, her father's now, he was the only one to survive. He's passed probably, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago. But anyway, so this was scholars digging up dirt, literally digging up dirt and finding out who the culprit was. I won't, you know, people can go look it up for themselves. We're not going to give it away, but it is. Oh,
powerful.
It's definitely. But it's a nice romance within the horrors. And that's what happens. You make like what's going on today in the Ukraine. You take the moments, and people are still going to get married. People are still going to have babies. All kinds of things are still going to continue to happen in the midst of horrific chaos.
Most definitely, and a wonderful coming-of-age story as well.
Yes, definitely. So when you audition, what's your idea of the perfect actress for the role of Anne Frank?
Oh, that's difficult. Well, you know, when I started this year, it was really important to me that, you know, we have an open door policy to all actors. So if you come to the Granite, that's what you can expect. We want new people, new faces. So I don't necessarily have anyone in particular in mind. But I would like to work with a young, talented actress who's passionate about her craft and who can bring some light to this character as well.
Do you have, besides Stonington, I'm sure Westerly must have a theater department.
They do.
So the high schools around here probably all have theater departments. I mean, you probably know them.
So we're going to reach out, most definitely, and we're going to reach out to the middle schools, and you know, maybe there's a donor out there that wants to give back to the kids and education, and I would love to have them be able to be bused to the theater and provide like a school time matinee for them. That would be really powerful. I know my daughter studied Anne Frank. She's in 8th grade now in East Lyme Middle School, Scarlett, and I think she is just as passionate about the story as I have been growing up. So.
Interesting, yeah. So you'll broadcast or announce in some fashion on your website, when these auditions are coming, and do you give descriptions like how old?
We do, and sometimes the ages, you know, it's sort of just a guideline, right? And because we all know it's not about what our real age is, it's how do we play on stage, right? And as long as it makes sense, then I'm not glued to the idea that it has to be a certain age. So we do give descriptions of the characters when we put out our audition announcements. And if you fit the description and the probable age range, please come out and audition for us.
How many people ordinarily, like for the Shakespeare play, how many people actually audition?
So we had about 22 people audition. I was excited about that.
And how many roles were cast?
And there were 6 roles.
6 roles.
Yes, I could have probably cast it 3 times or so.
Right.
That was pretty great. And we did end up with some actors that have even some professional experience, so that's exciting.
Oh, yes.
And when you're working in community theater, it's kind of neat, Harriet, because you know, your actor might be a lawyer during the day, right? And then at night, they come to the theater. And, you know, it's, of course, a good stress releaser, right? And they get to be someone that they're not when they present these shows. We have a lawyer in this one. We have a retired teacher. We have a postal worker. You know, it's people. It also brings together people of all walks of life, you know, and you get to make friendships that last forever when you're on stage. You know, you become a family. And that's one of the things I really love about doing theater.
Well, the Grand Theater is well known for having people come back and back and back and back. season after season performing. So I mean that in itself makes people comfortable with the stage and the building and whatever's backstage. We as the audience don't know what that is.
I'll give you a tour though. If you
Oh,
want
okay.
to come
I'm
next
willing.
time, Harriet.
I'm willing to see that. Definitely, I'd be looking forward to that.
It could be exciting.
Yes. Now tell the audience what the difference is between community theater and what we think of as theater, which is equity theater.
Sure. Well, one misconception I want to say is some people think that equity theater means that it's always better, that actor is better. Not necessarily. You can be a non-equity actor or a community theater actor and for instance, I sort of made the choice at one point not to become equity because I was a young mom and I really knew that if I still wanted to perform, it was better for me to stay non-equity. And that way I could still, be there for my kids and I wasn't able to travel all over and act. However, the union is very well respected, and being a member of equity means that you have done so many hours at a professional level theater.
Okay.
So think probably like Trinity Rep, right? But Trinity Rep also hires non-equity actors, right?
Right.
I know the GAM just recently became equity and professional, and the Granite used to be the Colonial Theater, which was professional. But it doesn't necessarily mean that the actor that isn't union is not as talented or doesn't love it as much.
Right.
But community means that, no one's really getting paid. The Granite, we are fortunate that we are offering a very small stipend to our actors.
Oh, okay.
Which is pretty much pays for gas, and that's great. That's wonderful. That's what we can do right now, and maybe in the future we'll be able to do more. But they're all people that have a love of theater, and they might have another occupation as well. A lot of times at professional theater and equity theater, it's people that this is their main gig, and this is what they're doing all the time.
Right.
But sometimes you're a mom, and sometimes you can't travel to New York City.
Sure.
And sometimes you're responsible for your family's, financial well-being, so you have to go to work, and how do you be, So that's, pretty much the difference is just that you've worked at a professional level theater for so many hours, and then once you complete that, you can submit to equity. But equity has changed over the past year. Professional theater has changed a little bit since COVID. So
I could imagine, and I would imagine, I don't know this to be true, but I would imagine that the potential audition people would be even larger and more experienced because no one has been working. Even right now, there are not that many theaters open on Broadway and off Broadway. So actors want to continue to keep their craft going just with the experience.
Absolutely.
That they might choose, something like Westerly, because maybe they've been here during the summer and say, oh yeah, this is a good place.
Well, we hope they'll choose us. And then we also hope that, in the future, if they want to, let's say they're a New York actor and they're not equity and they're visiting in the summer, they're coming to visit their family, come visit your family and come do a show with us at the Granite Theater. We would love to have them.
Is there a conduit do you have to reach these kinds of people, or no?
Well, there's a lot of advertising that goes on through social media. There's a lot of different sites to broadcast to auditions and what we're looking for.
Okay.
Rhode Island theater scene and Connecticut on stage and backstage. And so there's a lot of ways to reach them. And I'm very fortunate that I have worked in New York before and I have alumni that are there. So maybe one day if they're back at home, they'll come back, and I'd love to work with them again.
Interesting. Do you have students that you've taught who have had success and come back to thank you?
Yes. I don't have a student yet that has made it to Broadway, but I have students that are working professionally and making a living being an actor. They're struggling right now after COVID. I have been very fortunate to see my students perform off-Broadway, and I've been very fortunate to follow them to professional theaters and get to see their work. I'm always so grateful and humbled by their response of working with me and what they say that they have learned from their experiences. One of my students actually nominated me at one point for the Tony Awards. There's an Arts and Education Award.
Oh.
And I was a finalist for that, and that was
lovely.
Wonderful. That really meant a lot to me.
Oh my goodness.
But they really make me proud, and whether it doesn't matter what they're doing in theater.
Right.
It might be behind the scenes. I have a student right now who just got an off-Broadway contract. His name is Owen Smith. And he's from Stonington.
Okay, Owen.
And he is he's the company manager and stage manager for the Golden Girls show. There's a Golden Girls show that was on tour.
Okay.
And they're now coming to New York for a little stint off Broadway. And
wow, okay.
I'm so proud of him too. There's so many of them. I have a student, Corey Candelet, who is in New York now and has done a lot of professional work. And then, the great thing is during COVID, he came back and helped me. He was my assistant choreographer, helped me teach my students, and, imparted some of his knowledge as well.
Sure.
And when we can all pass that on together, it's pretty special. So
I know it's got to be a very interesting community.
It is.
Just like musicians have a particular community. Definitely, and kind of brings people together.
Definitely.
And we have, with this COVID business, just closed everything.
Yes.
I mean, not only the Granite, but Broadway, West End in London. I mean, everything's been closed. The Metropolitan Opera Company, I mean, you name it, and there has been absolutely no performing arts. There hasn't been much visual arts. The museums were closed as well.
Right.
So it has been, I can imagine being a performing artist. If I was young, I'd probably be back living with my parents, right? Because it's just been...
It's been difficult.
Very, very difficult.
But hopefully we're changing that, Harriet. And
yes.
Hopefully people will come back to the theater, come home to the Granite Theater. We really want to see you again. And we really want to bring you some joy. It's been dark too long, and the lights are on at the Granite Theater. And we have a new logo.
Okay.
I'm really excited.
Look at that.
Look,
yes.
It's like a cue there for me.
Yes.
And we want to be known, Harriet, as the little theater with a big heart.
Very nice. Very
so
nice.
When
and that
you
is
think
the steeple,
about us,
that's on the
steeple.
From the street, you can see it.
Yes.
Does it actually have a clock?
It does have a clock, but it doesn't have a flag yet.
Okay.
And I say yet. So our goal is to get a little flag up there. Couldn't that be exciting?
I sure don't want to be the person on the ladder. and interesting, of course, your theater, you're spelling Theatre versus ER. So if you're going online, make sure it's RE that you're looking at and not ER.
Correct.
Now that you're doing Shakespeare, RE is perfect,
It
isn't
is,
that the British way of showing theater?
It is.
So what have we missed in terms of the other shows that we have coming up?
So I think the last one that we didn't talk about was just the tradition at the Granite.
Okay.
And you know that one. I'm sure you've seen
the Christmas Carol.
Christmas Carol.
Yes.
But if you've seen it before, I want to caution you that it might be even bigger this year. I'm hoping to add more music, right? And more joy, and just an incredible event for our families. It's a fabulous tradition,
right?
And last year we established the tours in the park. We did the ghost tours, yes, and it was very successful. We were asked to do it again, so we're hoping we get to do that again as well,
right?
And that people will come out and see this, heartwarming production. It's perfect at the holidays.
Oh, it's true, absolutely true. And actually, as I recall, over the last 10 plus years, the Christmas Carol play that you performed has actually been different.
It is.
Yes,
we change it every year.
It's not the same thing. So if you saw the one this past year, it's probably not going to be the same one you're going to see in 22.
It's going to be a little different. It's going to be a little different, but we had a wonderful production last year. It was written and directed by Jane Mandes.
Okay.
And she's going to be directing this year as well. I'm very happy about that.
Wonderful.
And it's in the works, so it's going to be a big surprise for our audiences.
Wonderful,
yes,
wonderful.
It's definitely going to be a wonderful year for us.
It sounds just great. and traditionally, as I recall, you do 8 plays. I mean, 8 plays are musicals.
We do.
That is the standard season.
That is the standard. And And I'm hoping, Harriet, in the future, I also want to bring some productions during the summer that might happen during the day that you can bring your children to.
Oh, so children's theater.
So, yes, some children's theater and develop some internships with tech staff and actors.
Oh,
and
wonderful.
They can present these youth productions for, families down at the beach when they need a little break from the sun and they come over to the theater. Why not?
Absolutely, absolutely.
It could be a lot of fun.
Now, we probably won't have this again, but at once upon a time, we actually had a trolley that took people from the beach.
I love that.
To down, but I
wish.
Know. Yeah.
That would be great.
They actually did that one year, and that was absolutely fabulous. And one of the stops could have been the
Granite Theater. I love it.
Absolutely. There was. You don't have to drive and worry about parking. Take the trolley, and there you are.
Oh,
so
that's
we'll have
perfect.
to send some notes to the town council to revisit
that sounds like a great idea.
Yes, it was a wonderful
Let's
thing.
add the trolley.
Because you didn't have to worry about parking. You could park at the beach. You could park. I think, as I recall, one of the stops was McQuaid's, right downtown.
Oh, perfect.
And I can't remember where. And the other one, I think, was it Watch Hill? I don't remember. But anyway, it was fun. We just took it for the fun of doing it.
Yes,
the idea had been, as I understand it, I think the chamber paid for it, was to get people out of the beach downtown to eat and to shop. I mean, it was a good idea.
It was a great
idea. And then, for whatever reason, probably monetary,
right,
they ceased to do that. But that's the kind of thing that maybe with all the money that the states are getting from the federal government because of COVID, that, and not only COVID, but just in general, the infrastructure bill passed, that maybe someone could apply for some money and get, I think it cost $75,000 to bring back the trolley as a touristy kind of thing, and to bring people from the beach to downtown, to the Granite Theater, all the restaurants that are down there.
Wonderful.
So if Chuck Royce is listening.
Chuck, please, I want to meet you.
Chuck Royce is listening. We need a trolley. We need a trolley to get people out of the beach and into downtown and maybe to Watch Hill, although people in Watch Hill are not that interested in seeing us, especially tourists.
They want to see us.
But yes, why not to take a walk on to Napa Tree Point? And there are lots of restaurants and shops in Watch Hill anyway. And instead of parking there, which is a nightmare, you just get on the trolley.
Get on the trolley.
So anybody listening, we need a trolley. We need a trolley for this summer. Get everybody out and about.
Yes, and help support the Granite Theater. It would mean the world to us. It really would.
And of course the idea is that the Westerly actually changed a bit, I think, during COVID, so that a lot of people moved into the neighborhood who may have been here a long time ago, or never, or maybe just came to the beach now and then. They rented apartments, they bought houses. I mean, there was a lot of hot activity going on in the real estate business. And so maybe some of those people want to stay behind and not necessarily go back to Boston or New York or Stanford.
Maybe they want to stay in Westerly.
Stay at Westerly. So one of the things is that they can become patrons of the...
They can, and they can also become volunteers. We have a strong volunteer base, and we're hoping to build that as well. So maybe you want to come in and usher, or you just want to help set up for events, or you're interested in helping behind the scenes. We're looking for everyone to, we have an open door at the Granite Theater. Come join us and let us know what you're interested in.
We had, I'm also a member of a film festival committee. And at one time, I guess it might have been 3 years ago, before COVID, the Granite Theater was actually a venue
for the film festival.
For the film festival, and
we have a beautiful screen.
Well, you had a nice screen, but we actually didn't have anybody who knew how to run the movie projector.
Oh, okay.
It's all right. We were able to pick that up, but we've already got our venues for 22, but certainly 23. Because we plan.
Reach out.
Yeah, we plan well in advance.
Right. For
the movies that we select, and then the venues that we use. They have been everything from Connecticut College to some kind of, I don't know, neighborhood center that we actually used, to the Mystic Theaters.
Oh, I love their cinemas.
So, and the Granite, what we do usually one, but we could do two movies in Westerly is part of the festival.
Yes.
And so we actually had a reception in the lobby, and then we had the movie shown. at that time we were just starting with the online system, and we weren't able to do the ticket selling that way. But listen, everything's changed.
Everything has changed.
So we'll think about you
Yes.
for 23.
Yes, and if there's something that we couldn't do in the past, I guarantee you, Harriet, that I'm going to find a way to do it.
Okay,
This time.
that's very important.
Yes.
I know you've had some comedians come in for one night stands.
We have.
And that's probably good for the theater.
Yes. Well, when there's a dark time and we're able to accommodate them. The tricky thing is building the sets in between the shows and making sure that they're built in time. But if we're able to do that, we would like to invite artists whenever possible. I'm passionate about, uniting artists and giving them a place and a home as well. Because again, whatever you send into the world comes back to you. And
yes.
That's
well, what also has become sort of popular is like open mics.
yes, very
So,
popular. And that's why
you-
we're doing the cabaret series. The mic will be there, and performers could come in. We even are in talks. Maybe we'll do like a coffee house night. That could be
Sure.
really fun.
Sure. Because we do have quite a number of poets.
Yes, very talented
and,
people.
novelists and writers like myself. There's
And
both
writers, yes.
Connecticut Authors and Publishers Association, CAPA, which is in Connecticut, and then there's a Rhode Island similar kind of organization of authors, poets, fiction writers, nonfiction writers.
Right.
So they existed, and once upon a time, I was doing something, organizing something called Literary Salon,
Okay.
where a bunch of writers would come and read their work,
Read some of
and it
their
was
work.
hosted by the Malted Barley upstairs in their room. Now with
Okay.
COVID, the whole thing just came crashing to an end.
Yes.
But I think we could
We
discuss
could-
off camera
we
doing
could.
another literary salon.
Yes, that
at,
sounds
at
like
the
a fun
Granite
event.
Theater. You have a lovely, and you can make some money selling beer and wine. I know that I always have at least one glass of
You
wine.
do, Harriet. Okay.
At least one glass of wine, and you could be, I know you sell a little bit of candy, but you could
Yes,
possibly
a little
sell
more
a-
snacks. We're actually going to be doing that as well. We want to offer some more things in our concession area, so we're working on that as well, and maybe partnering. It would be great to partner with another, like a bakery or a business in town that might like to do that.
Well,
with
you
us.
have that new donut place.
Oh, I did see that.
There's a brand
Now,
new donut
unfortunately,
store.
I'm avoiding donuts at the moment, or I would have gone and introduced myself. But no, I do need to go and stop by. There's a lot of businesses that I haven't gotten to know yet. And
Right,
I'm
right.
thrilled to take the time and get to know everyone and see how the Granite Theater can help them as well.
Because there's a lot of artists who live here
There are.
in our community, both in Southeast Connecticut and in Western Rhode Island and Washington County. There are poets and writers of all kinds who are, just as actors are looking for venues,
They're looking
they
for...
are also looking for venues. And
Yes,
so yeah, we
most
could-
definitely. And we display art in our lobby now. Did you know that?
No.
So, yes, that's another new thing that's really, really spectacular. So if there's any local artists that would like to display their artwork, and we do not take a commission on that, we just allow you to put up your artwork in our lobby, and you may sell it. And that's another service that we're doing for the artists in our
That's
community.
wonderful. That's
so we're really
wonderful.
excited about that.
Yes, because
So contact us, please.
Yeah, because we here in this TV studio, once upon a time, before COVID, used to have 2, sometimes 3 art shows a year.
Oh, wow.
That we would have here, but of course the times are
different.
are different. But people are more likely to go to the theater than they are to show up at the TV studio for a taping. So there's probably more opportunity to sell your artwork through the Granite Theater.
Possibly, yes.
Yes,
We
and of
would
course
love
you
to
do have
offer that.
quite a bit of space in that
We
downstairs
do.
lobby.
We do, and we're excited for our patrons to see. I was telling Harriet earlier that we have refinished the wood floors downstairs, and they're gorgeous, and they just shine. So come and see some of the updates we have done, and there's more that we're hoping to do in the future with your help when you buy your subscriptions or when you donate to us or subscribe to us. You're really going to make an impact on this little theater with a big heart.
That's
It can
absolutely
make
true.
all the difference. Yeah.
And wasn't so many years ago that the interior of the theater was changed. The seating was completely changed from those little hard on your backside to really nice cushiony chairs. So that's still there.
Yes, downstairs. And our new mission is to sort of update the theater upstairs, to possibly paint, maybe restore some of the windows. It is a historic building, so it'll take a lot of work and a lot of money. But we're going to work on that, and we'd like to replace our seats in the theater as well.
Oh, because they aren't bad. They're pretty comfortable.
They're not bad? Okay, well, I'm glad to hear that.
Oh, no, I mean, what was there before was a lot worse.
It was worse? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So that makes you feel good.
Oh, yeah.
That makes me feel good. But
those seats aren't too bad.
They're
I can
not
tell
too
you.
bad. They're good. Nice.
I mean, if you've been to Broadway, you know that they must think everybody weighs 90 pounds.
Oh, yes. The Broadway is very tight. Well, when you can't afford the big seats, right? Especially when you're in the cheap seats.
You're gonna push them together so you have more seating. Because I think what's the seating capacity? 140.
140.
Yes, 140 people at the Granite Theater.
Yes,
definitely.
we did take out a couple seats for handicap accessibility, so it's like 138. But yes, so it's a small, intimate space, and
it is.
That's the beauty of it, though. You feel like you're right there with the actors, and you're part of the story.
Exactly.
So I love that about the theater. It's been something I've loved since I was a child.
Yes, obviously, since you're 8 years old doing your singing and dancing on Annie. Yeah, absolutely. Are you thinking about the next season already?
I am. I have a wish list already, Harriet. I definitely want to have the season prepared by the end of the summer. I was hired late, in January.
Right.
Typically, an artistic director would have the season already, the year before. But because I was hired a little bit later, I've had to sort of play catch up. But I think we've done well. And I'm hoping that the audience will also get as excited.
All kinds of audiences, absolutely true. Absolutely.
And I want to bring everyone into the theater, and expand our patron base. And also, I'm hoping that when they come, they're going to see that we've raised the bar a little bit. And I think that I want them to be excited about that.
Yes. I know that in the past, the local newspapers have been very supportive.
They have been.
Putting publicity out for just writing up a...
Yes.
I'm sure I saw your interview in the Sun.
Yes. Nancy Burns-Fusaro has been wonderful, very supportive, always a big fan through my Stonington program as well. And The Day with Christina Dorsey did an amazing article as well, and we're very grateful. All of that gets our name out there, and you, Harriet, having us on the show today, so thank you so much.
That's great.
We really appreciate it, and I'm here to speak for anyone and to talk about our little theater, but I'm also here to see how I can help you as well. I really want to get to know my neighbors in Westerly.
That's wonderful. Well, Erin, this has been a fabulous opportunity to meet you, to meet the new face of the Granite Theater. It's an established theater, but it's evolving. Can I say that?
Yes, we are evolving, and I can't wait to take you on a tour backstage now, Harriet.
Absolutely, I can't wait to go myself. And just for information, for people who are interested in learning some creative writing, some of you must know that I'm a novelist as well as a person who writes about grants, which is boring and dull. But the novels are all kinds of places. So I would invite you, it is absolutely free, come to the Pawcatuck Neighborhood Center on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. and you can participate in my creative writing class. What we try to do is whatever you want to write, we encourage you to write. Sometimes I give you reading assignments. You may or may not participate in that, but it's an opportunity. You want to write letters to your grandchildren, you thinking about a travel guide or a journal that you want to write because you've traveled in some very interesting places, or you want to write a novel, you want to write a children's book. So you have an opportunity to share ideas and let us know, what you're thinking about doing. If we want to, I always want to encourage writers. There's not enough writers and playwrights too. We haven't seen many playwrights. I'd love to have them come, and the people who are in the class, we could be your actors. We could try it out. So I encourage people to come. Again, it's completely free. It's on Wednesdays, every Wednesday morning, 10 a.m. It's about an hour and 15 minutes. And it's at the Pawcatuck Neighborhood Center. Look it up on your phone for your GPS, and you can see if you're in Westerly, it's only 10, 15 minutes away. It's in Pawcatuck, so the Stonington, Mystic, anybody who's around there, come on over. The Pawcatuck Neighborhood Center, by the way, is a very interesting place to go if you're looking for some fabulous vintage clothing, or they have a wonderful store there, and you can shop great prices, and you can find some terrific bargains. Clothing, jewelry, dishware, a whole bunch of stuff there. Also, I understand they also have, at least when we're there on Wednesdays, they actually have bread that they're giving away. I mean, not like slices of bread, but whole breads that someone has donated. And so they're available, just you walk home with them. So I'd encourage you to come. We have plenty of parking. It's a lovely building. And so far, the Wednesdays, the weather has been kind, not too cold. Even sometimes we get sun. And we're going to just continue this. And the more people that come, the more fun it is, because then you get opinions and ideas from a whole assortment of different people. And I'm actually going to be, as a novelist, starting to write my next book, and I'm going to actually use my class as a way of playing with some ideas. As a writer, I usually write 1,000 words and throw out 500. So this would be part of that whole process. So again, I encourage you to come. And of course, I encourage you to go to the Granite Theater. If you don't go, you're missing a fabulous opportunity to see local theater in really relatively soft seats.
Yes, relatively soft seats, but just a time to smile again.
Absolutely. Yes. So come on out and support the arts,
support
all the arts, and support your own self as becoming an artist. So I thank you very much, Erin. It's been a pleasure to have you.
It's my honor to be here today. Thank you.
So listen, everybody, it's time to support the arts. Go to the theater. Come to my writing class.
Definitely.
Just have a good time and use this COVID experience to kind of maybe write a love letter to yourself. So peace and love to everybody. This is Harriet Grayson, your host and producer, Community Culture Showcase. Hope to see you again real soon.